Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our Nitro Rad Patreon podcast thing, whatever we want to call this. We're actually doing it audio only this time, as you probably could tell. We're not on screen for once, and with the whole COVID-19 outbreak thing, we're following strict isolation laws. Here in Nova Scotia, it's actually like the law not to be in groups of 5 or more, which is crazy. Like people are
Yeah,
getting out
like
fines
we
and
we have barely any well, not barely any cases, but like I think we have like one or two that are not linkable to travel or somebody that had traveled, and we're
yeah.
still in like complete lockdown.
As far as like a lot of the rest of the world goes, it feels like we're probably in one of the safer places to live because like while the number of cases is rising like it is everywhere else, it seems to be a lot more under control. And I think like these really annoying measures like, oh, we all have to stay home, like it's working. So I don't feel it kind of sucks that like we have to live in such a weird time where we can't leave our houses. But I mean, I'm thankful we live in a place that's actually doing something about it to kind of help it not get out of control like it has anywhere else. But yeah. Today with me I've got Brady.
Hello.
And I've got Robbie,
Hello.
who we have had on the podcast in the past. You helped us with the April Fool's special this year, so we kind of figured, let's get Robbie on this time.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because
Yeah.
I was there for most of it, I would say.
Most of it. And you helped with the last year one, too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
It's 2 years in a row now that I've kind of been like the guy behind the camera for most of it.
Yeah. So, before we get to that, I guess let's kind of talk about what Nitro Rad stuff I did this month. It's because there's not really much else I did other than the April Fool's stuff.
Yeah.
But, unless there's something like you wanted to throw in first, Brady.
No, go ahead.
All right, so I started this month by finishing off that Frogger 2 video. Because I'm doing the Frogger series, but this is going to be kind of being put on hold for a while. Because, like, Frogger's a long series, there's a lot of games to do. And there's some other stuff I want to do right now, in particular, like the April Fool's special got in the way. And with the release of Animal Crossing, I want to kind of take a break from it and do that stuff. But I finished that second Frogger game. I was really, really happy with that thing. It was such a step up from that first Frogger game. Like, that first one had so many, like, issues. It was
it
so
looked
frustrating.
so bad. Like I'm really glad I have never played it.
It was terrible. It is one of the most, like, gruelingly unforgiving games I've ever played in my life. Like, I'd say it's comparable to, like, Ghosts and Goblins on NES. Like, just how, like, how unpredictable it can be with how, like, the patterns are so inconsistent. It's a hard game to learn. And I guess, like, maybe if you're the speedrun type and you like just memorizing stuff and doing things in, like, a really cool and fast and impressive way, maybe it could appeal to those people. But for the average person like me, it was a frustrating mess. So, like,
Yeah.
that second Frogger game. Oh?
I was just gonna say it's a very niche kind of like mindset to go into a game with. Like,
Yeah.
no, most people aren't gonna go in there being like, "Oh yeah, I want to sit down and like memorize everything," and
Exactly. And I did get a lot of comments from people that did remember playing it. And it's like, nah, dude. Like, I'm sure a lot of people probably had an easier time getting into it as a kid because kids have way more patience and kids will do that sort of thing. But playing that for the first time as an adult that doesn't have that sort of, like, thing as my main interest or what I'm looking for in video games, it is just an insufferable mess playing that thing. Yeah, the sequel kind of, like, because there was a lot of things I did like about it. I liked the grid-based movement, and I liked how the very simple arcade game design, and they kind of turned that into a much better thing in the second game. Like, it's pretty much just the same thing, but, like, it's got linear stages instead of, like, being this open kind of Easter egg hunt sort of deal. And, God, I'm trying to think of, like, it's kind of a hard game to think about because, like, again, it was really short and there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. It was a rather short video. But also, like, it feels so long ago at this point that I reviewed that thing. Because I've gone so long without talking about Frogger. It's just been the April Fool's thing. And with the whole COVID-19 thing happening, God, it feels... Like, I know it was only 3 weeks ago, but it feels so long ago.
Well, I mean, everybody was saying like March. It just feels like March never fucking ended.
Yeah.
Time has kind of stayed still for
Yeah.
quite a while now, and like, I'm finding a lot of the extroverted people I know are actually starting to go insane because they need that social gathering and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm used to this, but like, I feel you. Like I just don't like being told to stay indoors. Like if I want to go out, I want to go out, but you got to stay safe.
Yeah, and it's like I feel really, really fortunate to be, the person I am in this whole mess because I work from home. I have for like the last couple of years, so it doesn't really affect me all that much. Though I do really miss like some days I would start a work day. I would walk down to Tim Hortons. It's like a 10-minute walk there and back, and I would just buy a coffee and a little breakfast sandwich, and I'd walk home and eat and drink that while I start writing. And now I can't like. I kind of can't do like my little routine anymore, and I gotta wake up and like make coffee at home, and it's like not being able to go on that little walk in the morning is just really weird, and it's kind of like not like disrupted my workflow, but it's kind of it just feels weird.
A big
now.
shift though, like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's so weird to think that like I was doing that Frogger 2 video before this thing started, and like because when we started doing that April Fool's video, that's when it was starting to kind of be taken seriously. Just when we were filming, we had a bunch of people over, but this was before. Like I remember the day I got you guys all over to film that Reservoir Dogs scene. That was like the day where it's like, yeah, we probably can't do this again after this.
Yeah, that was like the last free day. I feel like.
Yeah, because my parents were starting to be like, yeah, I probably don't have people over after this, and like, I'm still seeing my girlfriend, but that's it. That's the only.
You're lucky to
other
even
human
be
I've seen.
doing that because I can't even see Kai half the time because of this.
Really?
Like my family's getting so strict. I'm getting pulled on like two different ends of this, where it's like they're like, no, you got to stay home, you got to be safe, blah blah blah, and then being like, I'm stressed out and I need someone to be with, and I'm like, I don't know where the frickin' heck to go. Like Jesus.
Yeah, it's like I really couldn't imagine getting through this time and not being able to see my partner for so long. Like I feel really bad for our friend Mark because he lives in the States and his girlfriend lives in Canada just across the border. They live like 20-minute drive away from each other, but since they're on other sides of the border, travel is illegal right now because the border's locked down, so they can't see each other. Who knows when the next time they're going to see each other is.
Oh my god.
That sort of thing's crazy to me. Man, I hate like coughing in public right now because I'll still like walk home and I'll still be like outdoors sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like any stores or nothing. But if I gotta walk home, I gotta walk home. And like if I happen to cough or like I choke on my own spit a lot because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And every time I do that, I feel like I'm gonna get fucking arrested.
Yeah.
Because like everyone just like looks at me like I'm some sort of like evil thing that came to like perish their crops. Like what is? I'm sorry, dude. I'm just choking. But I mean, like I get it. It's a really scary time out there right now, and we got to do our best to.
It's kind of funny,
sure
I never noticed how much I touch my face until this happened.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in a grocery store, I like go to like touch my face without thinking, and I'm like, oh, I can't be doing that right now.
Yeah. Toilet paper isn't going to prevent everything.
No, yeah, that's a whole can of worms that we don't even need to get in. You just say the word toilet paper, people know.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's seen how... yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
But,
so the April Fools went well.
Oh, I have one last thing.
Oh, yeah?
My aunt and uncle actually were in Florida when this whole thing started happening. So they flew back home, and they are being quarantined. Like, legally, they're not legally allowed to leave the property.
Yeah.
But one of their neighbors thought they saw them leave the property and called the cops on them. And the cops, like, had to show up and be like, oh, you're not allowed to leave your property. And, like, gave them a hard time, even though they didn't even... Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, what a crazy time we live in. But, this will be over. This will be a crazy thing that happened in the past at one point. And... we're living in like a huge historical event right now, and it's crazy that we're alive and around and to see it and be affected by it. I think it'll be more interesting in the long run than anything, but
I just hope I can be the grandpa that's like, yeah, I lived through that. What did I do?
I lived through COVID. Back, you guys got your smartphones. Back in my day, we had COVID-19.
How'd I survive? I bought 3 cases of jam and a couple of Scooby-Doo raviolis. Like,
had I survived, I stayed home, played Animal Crossing for 5 weeks straight.
It's just the way you gotta do it.
Man, but yeah, that was the last day we were really able to film. I really pushed that date, like, to get all the April Fool stuff filmed. Like, the last day we got the last kind of shots for that. was like, yeah, okay, last time you can hang out. But then we had to do it one more time, Brady. I had to get you over to get some of those green screen shots for that Blues Clues bit and the bit where you ran from the boulder, both of which I thought turned out insanely good.
Yeah, very much
but,
so.
Yeah, I guess let's just kind of start talking about the April Fool's thing. Because there's not really much to talk about with Frogger 2. It's just like, yeah, short game, better than the first one. I liked it. I want to get more into Frogger later, but I'm going to put that on the shelf. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to bounce off the idea of last year, because last year was an idea. I feel like every year we kind of do the same idea as last year with something else. Like, we reviewed Corey in the House and Drake and Josh, and then we did an Eric Andre thing that still had a Drake and Josh thing, and now we had an Eric Andre thing again, but with like more different stuff.
Yeah.
So like, the only joke I knew I wanted to do that I had the idea for this year was I wanted to do the Eric Andre thing again, but I wanted to have a lot of guests, and I wanted to introduce them all at once, and then they all talk at once, and you can't hear anything. That was the joke that I came up with, and that was the only thing I had to go on for like a while. Obviously I realized that's just one bit. That joke could be 5 minutes tops. I need more for that, and then over the year I just kind of got a lot of ideas. None of the ideas were like coherent. They're all just like very unrelated ideas that I kind of jotted down, and then I think that kind of is part of the reason why it's such a chaotic mess this year. Like, there's no coherency. Like, Robbie, like you said, last year it was kind of set up like more like a talk show with segments and stuff.
Yeah.
But this year it's just kind of like an incoherent mess of just bullshit, and like I kind of like that because it's very like chaotic. It's very like kind of up in your face, maybe penetrating your comfort zones a little bit. Like, a joke's over before you even know it, and then we're already on the next joke. Like that WarioWare transition where it happens so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it comes out of nowhere and then it's just gone, and like
Exactly. And I wanted that because the Eric Andre show is just kind of like a vessel of chaos.
Yeah.
And I felt like just dialing that up to 11 is what I needed to do. If I wanted to top last year, I don't know if I did top last year. I think I like some of the gags better last year, but I think I like last year's overall way more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like last year was like a cool big new thing. I built the set, I got the guests, we did the Eric Andre thing, and everyone thought that was cool. But when you do that a second time, it's not as cool. Like, oh, they're just doing this again. Even... What were you going to say?
Oh, no, finish what you were going to say.
Oh, I was going to say, even if, like, the bits are better, it's kind of like Infamous 1 versus Infamous 2. Like, Infamous 2 is an objectively better game, but Infamous 1 was a new cool thing when it came out. So it kind of had that feeling the second game didn't.
Yeah, both of them had their peaks. I still like the first one better. However, both of them all, like, carry themselves pretty good with the gags and just the way things turned out. Like both of them are really good. It's just I like the first one way better.
What do you think, Robbie? Which one do you prefer?
I don't really know, because like on one hand I do feel like the first year's was like more coherent as a whole, but also like it kind of relied on a bunch of other YouTubers that quite frankly I didn't know much about. So I feel like I might have gotten like more enjoyment out of the second one just because it's like I didn't need to know the people in that one, I guess.
Yeah, because the joke, I guess that joke would make sense to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm interviewing, like, She Says a Boundary Break, we make a lot of jokes where, like, if you're not familiar with his show, you might not get those jokes.
Yeah,
where,
it's like I just kind of got the idea of it more than, like, what it was
That's-
specifically about.
That's interesting, because that is something I try not to rely on too much, because I feel like that really puts a date on your video. Like, referencing any, like, meme or pop culture that's, like, currently relevant. Like, say, like, say, even, like, a phrase as simple as, like, or commonly accepted as, like, yeah, you Thanos snapped him out of existence, which is something we all say now to say, like, something was obliterated.
Yeah.
But in 10 years, people might not know as much. It might end up being a timeless reference, like, anything the old Star Wars movies will be. But you don't know that. People could watch the video in 10 years. You say something like that, and people, like, people don't get it or I don't know, that people don't, like, as firmly grasp the idea you're trying to get across.
Yeah.
I try to do that in videos in general, like, not using any, like, dated language. But yeah, that definitely would also apply to that first special where you kind of like the joke was only complete and had its full potential if you knew who those people I was interviewing was. And yeah, I never really thought of it that way, but that is definitely a strength of this year's one, since the joke did not at all rely, like, it did not matter who those people were. And I think that's also a cool thing about that bit was also my favorite bit to watch the chat for, because like the way I constructed it was like, yeah, we'll have this guest and this guest and this guest and this guest, and it just keeps going and going and going. And exactly as I hoped when it was premiering live, I saw everyone's reaction to each guest and the reaction to the fact that I just kept introducing more.
Yeah.
Like, it went, people were like, oh, he's doing 2 guests, he's doing 3, he's doing 5, they just keep coming, you know. That was really fun to watch the chat for, especially like you got to see like some of the more popular people, like people when Scott the Woz showed up, a lot of people were like flipping out.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good balance. Like, when those people that if those people mean something to somebody, the moment they appear on screen, that kind of does all the talking. But then the joke itself doesn't have to rely on that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think in that sense, I guess thinking about it that way, I do like this year's jokes better. I think the jokes stand alone better, and honestly, I think the segments themselves are like, I think the whole Big Smoke segment is probably a funnier joke to me than any of the individual jokes we did last year. Same with like, God, that whole WarioWare bit is like my favorite thing in that whole thing. I think just because
It's
how,
so
like,
good.
I got Kevin to animate that on such short notice. It was the 20th, and I was walking home from my girlfriend's one evening, and I just had the idea, like, because that was an idea I had for a while. I wanted to do a WarioWare transition, but I was struggling to think of how I would do it or where I would put it in there. But then I realized, what if I just get Kevin to animate it? So I was like, hey, Kevin, I know we got 10 days left, but how possible would it be to do this? And he was actually in love with the idea, because Kevin, like, WarioWare is like Kevin's like second favorite series ever, like next to Rhythm Heaven, which is by the same people. Like, he loves that style so much. And as an animator, I felt like it would click with him better than anybody. So there's nobody I could have better asked than Kevin, especially because like, and I got this throughout the whole thing with you guys as well, but Kevin was always messaging me like, hey, I think it'd be funny if I did like a little Brady broke the TV and that's how you lost a one. You know, like, he kept like throwing me all these little ideas, and he would be like, yeah, I don't know if it's too much, but I'm like, no, that's a good idea, do that. And he just I could tell Kevin was just really inspired doing that thing, really excited doing that thing, and it just like, God, it turned out great, because like the way it looked in my head was like a lot more lacking than what it ended up, because Kevin added so many little things to it.
Yeah,
Bro, Kevin knows how to
the more
spice
you
things
watch
up.
it, the more like details you pick up in it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Brady, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, no, like, Kevin knows how to spice things up with like everything. Like he always like breaks expectations from what I've been like seeing. Like the animation, I absolutely love it. When you actually sent me like the file for it, I was just like watching it over and over again, just seeing what I could see, and I was like, this is awesome.
Every time he'd send me like an unfinished preview, I would have to play it back like 20 times. Yeah, because it's, man, there's just so much going on there in such a short amount of time. And like, I remember like the chat seemed really confused at that point. Everyone was like, wait, is WarioWare now? What happened? And I was just like, I could tell it, like, everyone got just as confused yet simultaneously excited as I wanted them to be. So that was definitely worth it, doing that last second. Huge shout out to Kevin, by the way. You can follow him on Twitter. I'll put it up on screen. It's at KimotMan. He's also done artwork for my channel, and he's done artwork for a handful of videos. This is the first time I commissioned like a full-on animation from him, and it looked gorgeous, and I couldn't have been happier with it. Also, that the bit it does in between where you're running for the boulder, that was all me in After Effects. I took just the sprites from Smooth Moves, the Wii one, and I ran them through like an image upscaler that kind of like increases the resolution without getting the pixels and smooths it all out.
Yeah.
And I did that to make because it's a 480p game and I needed it in 1080p, so I did that, and then I kind of stretched it and had you running for the boulder, and that we filmed on the green screen. Brady, I have that in the credits. You can see my reaction to like. I literally just put Brady on the green screen and I go, okay, so pretend you're in a WarioWare mini game, like you're running from a boulder or something. And Brady, just on the first take just does that. And it looked like the timing, the body language, it was all like exactly a WarioWare mini game. And it was crazy.
I absolutely love WarioWare. And I just like how different every minigame is. So like when you see like the realistic looking like character sprites,
Yeah.
like how exaggerated do you go with that? Well, you got to go very exaggerated. It's WarioWare, right? That's what I channeled from that. I was like, I need to be exaggerated and I need to look goofy.
But I like how you just like immediately channel like the rhythm of the game too. How
Yeah.
like you start with a couple of steps and you go faster until you're running, then you fall down.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like a 4-beat process, like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
fall. And yeah, I don't know. You just got on and just winged it and did it perfect in the first try. I don't know how you do that shit, Brady, but like I swear Brady has like a gaming metronome in his brain that just like can mimic the rhythm and behavior of like anything he sees. I don't know how the hell you do that.
When I play WarioWare, like if I'm going like really fast, I'm like, okay, what do I do here? Oh, button, okay. Oh shit, I messed up. Or like, oh, okay, I got away with it. Like,
so it's almost as if like the rhythm in your brain you kind of feel when you play that game.
Yeah,
You just kind of
yeah.
like thought about
like
that.
I just got to channel like how I would react if the game started up.
I see. You just kind of
Yeah.
think about your muscle memory when you're... Yeah, you know what? I've done that too. Like, I
Yeah.
just imagine myself playing the game, and I think about when I'm pushing the buttons, and instead of pushing the button, I just, like, move my body.
Yeah.
I guess is a good way to... A weird method acting
Yeah.
kind of like, way trying to get across, like, how this...
Video gameism.
Yeah, mindset there, but, you know... Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did we do on the April? Yeah, so we filmed everything kind of similarly to last year, where, like, we wrote all the segments, though like we didn't really write much.
Yeah.
I wrote one part, but like most of it was just kind of generally planned out, and we kind of improv most of the lines.
Yeah.
Unlike last year we did actual interviews over Discord, and then I wrote scripts based on those, taking all the highlights, and then we filmed all that, and then I edited down even further, and didn't even end up using like half of what we filmed. But this time. And we ended up running on really late because of that. Like you can notice in the first one when we destroy the set, which obviously was filmed last, it's like way darker than the rest of the video, which
Yeah.
I hated. This year we kind of knew what we were doing better. The bits didn't go on as long. We kind of, and plus like we didn't have to film a lengthy interview sequence. So we got done way faster, probably like 2 or 3 hours faster. So we got it done before the sun started setting. So we didn't have that problem this year, which I was really happy about.
Yeah, that was nice. But we did have the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have the
Oh my
snow for
God.
one scene. God, it just started snowing. So like there's like 3 random shots sprinkled throughout it where it's just snowing, and it looks so weird. Like even the opening shot.
Yeah.
But
It's funny though. I think it works. Like
Yeah.
it's such
Yeah.
a weird video that just like having that in there is just kind of like, okay, that's a thing, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the
Kinda
least of
adds-
their concerns are, oh, snow. Okay.
Yeah,
I think their concerns.
it kind of adds to like the fever dreamish feel of it, which honestly is kind of why I wanted to do WarioWare to begin with, because like that game is also really relentless and crazy and chaotic, and like things are constantly changing, and every skit in this video is something completely different. We go through different like styles, like we do some green screen stuff, we do some like live action like skit film stuff, but like we go from Smash Bros. Melee to San Andreas to Blue's Clues to Wario, like the Habba Hotel and Club Penguin. Like we go through the most like random assortment of like things to reference throughout this video, and it has like no coherency.
Yeah.
And like I kind of want to take credit and just be like, yeah, I planned that, but not really. I just thought those things would be funny, and once they're all in the timeline, I'm like, yeah, these things make no sense together. And that just kind of added so much to it.
I just remember how friggin' cold it was, though. Like,
Oh yeah, no, like
Oh, God,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure I have like nerve damage in my hands from it.
God,
like
I'll show. Yeah, I'll show some clips of like Brady wearing a much bigger sweater between takes and then quickly throwing it off to do the take.
like even last year though, like I was cold, but like I was much colder this year.
Yeah,
It-
it's
it,
like
um,
March is not a kind month in
No.
Canada. Like, you'd think after February it starts like warming up. It doesn't start warming up here till like April or like very end of. Like honestly, like the last 2 days have been kind of getting warmer. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like it's, God, winter goes on way too long in Canada. And if it were like 1 month, a 1 month difference, it would be fine, and we wouldn't have to worry about snow or the cold or whatever. But man, also like the duct tape was just not sticking this year, and like the freaking curtains kept falling off. It was like windier this year too. I think that's why it
Oh,
was a
yeah.
little
Yeah.
harder to work with. The audio was a nightmare. We had to like wait for the wind to stop. We had to wait for the dogs to stop
Oh
barking.
my god, they're
Wait for
like
the
freaking
wait for the girl
yeah.
across the street
Yeah.
to stop playing
Like
basketball.
last day of filming. This is the only like shots that would only like take maybe like 20 minutes ended up being like over an hour and a half of just this one girl just playing basketball in her front yard because of the quarantine, right?
And that was the shot of me in Smash Bros. Melee, so
Yeah.
we needed the audio because I talk during that.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do that and have you hear a basketball in the background.
And like I was just standing there and I'm like, would it be bad if I just go over there and pop the ball like one of those evil cartoon neighbors?
Yes, it would be bad to do that, Brady. That would be terrible.
Well, I mean, we both had like suits and stuff. We could
Yeah, we were both wearing suits
Yeah.
because, well, I was. You were wearing your like flannel.
Oh, right. Yeah, like we
Yeah.
could have just like walked up there and been like, yeah, you got to go inside. Virus outbreak. You got to be careful.
If we walk up to that little girl like dressed like the Men in Black wearing sunglasses and we're like, oh, we gotta hang on COVID-19 report, and then she'd probably just get scared and like run in. But
Yeah.
like, I always like, man, I wish I was like not a normal person that like is respectful of others, so I
Yeah.
can just do things like that. God, it must be really fun to be a shitty person.
I think
It
that's
is
the
if you
appeal.
want your way, right? But like, God,
You know
damn.
that is it, because shitty people will do whatever it takes to get their own way, and they don't care. That's
Yeah.
why, that's selfish, man.
Yeah, no,
Fuck
like
people that are like that.
I mean, I live with one of those, so like I know what it's like, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how you live each day, every day, getting everything you want by just walking over people, like.
Yeah, like I've dealt with a lot of people like that as shoppers, when like just entitled boomers that come. I'm sure I've told you this before, but best example, I've had this more than once. Old woman buys a scratch ticket and tries to return it, demanding that they're owed a reward because they play it so much and they still have not won.
Okay.
I've been using this scratch ticket for 3 years now, and I've never won a single buck on it. It's ridiculous. You owe me some money back. I want my money back.
There are people that are. I've dealt with that.
I'm sorry, lady, but go talk to every like kid in like the 70s and 80s that went to an arcade and lost quarters on Pac-Man and claw machines and carnivals. Like shut up.
What?
I'm gonna
Hold on,
hire
bro.
Adam Sandler to go yell at you. Is
What
he on
are his
Fiverr now?
rates?
There's some joke I said the other night to my girlfriend. I forget what I said, but I was like, I think I said my April Fool's special is going to do so well, I'll be the billionaire. I'll get the rich to do my bidding. I'll have Leonardo DiCaprio dancing in my kitchen for 24/7 or something. I forget. I don't know. I just came to the idea of Leonardo DiCaprio. His whole life is just now dancing in my kitchen just for my entertainment.
Leonardo dance for you.
You better be
Dance
giving
for
him like
me,
$1
Leonardo.
billion a year for that.
Jesus, yeah.
Give him a dance award every year, you know?
I mean, what
You're
good
doing
is
such a good job.
what? What kind of? There's a point where it's like, what good is money if like if all of your life is dancing in that spot? You can't spend it. You can't go anywhere.
For being such a young man, here's a little extra.
No, don't spend it all in one place. He's saving up for Mario Galaxy.
Don't
2.
spend it all in one place because you're there.
God damn it, Brady. That was really good. Man. But speaking of spending all your time in one place, that's what I've been doing lately with Animal Crossing. I know you
Yeah.
boys been doing the same thing. Not much else to do right now.
No, not
Yeah.
a damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the game digital actually because I usually like to get my games hard copies, but it's just I didn't want to risk going to the EB Games
I
and
don't
going to
blame
the
you.
store where tons of people were going in and out. So I just Brady, you had to work during that day.
I had
feel
I
really
had to
bad for
work
you.
that day, and it wasn't too bad. However, it was still like a stressful day. It was my final day before we got laid off, and it was nightmarish because people looked at like me as if I was like carrying the virus when I should be more concerned about the customer, because you're coming into my store sanitizing your hands. I have gloves on, I have everything. Like I'm trying to be precautious about this. We're trying to keep you at a distance. We're trying to get you your game so you can get the hell out. But you're
Yeah,
looking
like
at me
I-
like I'm the spreader.
I feel so bad for people working retail because like, you know, people coming in making a decision to leave their house and buy a piece of entertainment at an area where tons of people flock to all the time, they have no right to be like, I don't want to get corona from the guy at EB Games. The guy at EB Games should be worried about getting corona from you. You're the ones who are coming in on the mall and, you know, crowds of people coming to buy stuff. Like I'd be terrified of worked retail. In that
Like I got
time.
mine physically because I was there that day. I said, "The hell with it! I'll just grab it now." And then
if
I
you're
had
at
to
work
grab my
anyway,
friends.
you may as
right?
well.
Yeah, like I was there, and then I grabbed anything else I needed that day, and then I went to my friend, gave him his copy, and that was the last day I spent like hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And then-
This is actually your first Animal Crossing game that you like really played a lot of, isn't it, Brady?
Second one, because the first one was the one I focused on most.
Oh, so you played like a good amount of the first
I
one.
played a good amount of the first one. I wasn't good at it, but like I was.
Okay, I thought you told me you only played it like once or twice.
Yeah, no, like I played City Folk once or twice with my
Oh, that's
cousin.
what I'm thinking of.
And
You're right, that's what I'm thinking.
I was like, okay. Fun fact about playing City Folk. He wanted to name his town Pluto, but
Yeah.
he accidentally called it Puto. Very, very close to the Spanish term of bitch, which I was like, nice one, bud.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What did you guys all name your town this time?
I named mine Blumfield.
Blumfield.
Yeah, Blumfield.
Robbie, you just named your town after like a Xenogears town, didn't you?
Yeah, I called it Shavat because I was sitting at the naming for the town for literally half an hour, and I was like, I am getting nowhere. I need something.
Yeah, that's like every Animal Crossing game, when I name myself, I just type in James. When I have to name the town, it's like, God, I have to type in a name I'm gonna have to stare at for like a year.
Yeah.
And I ended up just typing in New Rungus.
Oh,
Because Robbie, you just made up the word Rungus when you named our Dreadout character, and I thought that was really funny. So I don't know. New Rungus sounds like a place.
Yeah.
So I just ended up using that, and I like it.
James,
I like it.
similar
Yeah.
to that, a friend of mine, the one that I gave the copy to, he named his town New Gungus. And so when I seen you enter my town with New Rungus, I was like, these must be neighboring countries. I was like,
Oh my god!
I was like,
New
oh my
Rungus
god.
and New Gungus.
Yeah, just by one letter. And I was like, holy crap.
Wait a minute.
Where's the original Gungus?
Yeah, god damn. But I was gonna say, are our islands technically countries? Because it's just an island in the middle of the ocean. There's no government there.
Yeah.
Am I the government? Are we a country?
We're a country without borders.
Is New Rungus a country? Is your town a country? Like, it could very well be
Yeah.
considered that. It's the first time the series is just, like, on an island by itself instead
Yeah.
of just, like, an area, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is.
It's not the town
Makes you
of New
think.
Rungus. it's
Who
the
owns
country New
a
Rungus.
deserted island?
Well, I would assume either your character or Tom Nook does.
Yeah.
So I guess Tom Nook's the governor of New Rungus,
It's just an island in Nintendo land, like, you know.
I guess.
Yeah.
And guess I'm the mayor. I guess Tom Nook's the governor, and I'm the mayor, and that makes Isabel the vice president.
Yeah. Like I'm just like going around doing chores for everyone. Like I should be mayor then. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, it's always the most helpful person in the town that should be in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that I think about this a lot, and I've never mentioned it to anybody because I think it's just so dumb. When you go to Orville to go to another island, he refers to local play and online play as a nearby island or a faraway island. But does that not imply that all of the islands are moving around because when they get close enough to you, they would be in local play range?
Maybe
And
the
then
tide
if
is just
they
out.
weren't, they would be far if you were doing online. Yeah. That's
So, like,
what
what is going on with these islands?
All of the islands are
Tectonic plates,
just,
dude.
I was gonna say it's like the turtle from Majora's Mask. They're all on the back of one of those guys, and they're just swimming in the ocean.
You're just on Tortimer's back.
That's such a like random, abstract. Who would think of that thought? But
Damn.
Like, now that you've said that, you're like 100% right. I can't stop fucking thinking about that. The islands are alive. They're moving.
You just hired all the sea turtles from Sonic Adventure, or no,
my
Sonic
God.
Sonic Heroes. That's it.
What if Gulliver doesn't float around? The islands float to him. He stays still in the ocean.
Oh, God. What have I done?
Though,
Yeah, it's
one thing I found out, one thing I love about New Horizons is that there's like a couple of lines of text that just kind of make you consider something you never did before. For example, in the Nook Miles descriptions, one of them just says, "Nobody knows who's attaching all of these balloons to things and setting them out." And I just went, "Yeah, who the fuck is doing this shit?"
Yeah, no, I don't.
You
I don't
know what?
understand.
I
Like,
never even considered that. Another one I really like is if you talk to Gulliver in someone else's town, he'll explain that he doesn't accidentally go overboard. He does it on purpose to find new islands.
you know,
Really?
you can do that with a boat, right? Like that's
Yeah,
that's
I know,
the
but
thing.
yeah, this entire time since the first Animal Crossing, Gulliver's never been stranded. He's doing it on purpose, and like they finally just like said that just as like a little fun thing to include. I think
Good
that's like really
Lord.
fun. The idea of that, like, this guy's so dumb, he just like just gets stranded on islands all the time for fun instead of buying a friggin' boat. Not a fan of Bunny Day though. That's
Oh,
been
God.
happening nonstop.
Bunny Day can frickin' take its eggs and go back to the grocery store. I'm so frickin' tired of this.
It's not
Yeah.
even, like, the second day is not even over, and I'm so tired of fishing up eggs.
Robbie, I saw you tweet, like, I never thought I'd miss catching sea bass, because at least they were fish.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny, just because it's like, yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I caught a black bass, and I was like like I actually got like really excited. It wasn't a stupid water egg, and I'm like, thank God. Like I've only been on there for 2 days now, and I'm like, this is stupid. This is dumb. I haven't even seen the bunny guy. But if I
Oh
did,
god, the
I would.
bunny guy is really weird. Did you notice that, like, if you walk away from him but you still see him on screen as you walk away, he'll like sigh in relief and then stop dancing as if to say
Yeah.
like, oh great, someone's nearby, I have to put on the bunny show.
Yeah,
Like he's a guy in a costume that like hates his
I'm pretty sure
job.
he's a serial murderer.
God,
Probably.
Yeah, I don't trust that guy. But yeah, it's just eggs nonstop. There's like a lot of things you'd normally do to get resources now give you eggs, like hitting rocks and chopping trees and catching fish. And the balloons are driving me nuts because I leave the game idling a lot and like when I'm just editing. But if I hear the sound, I have to stop and I have to get my slingshot and get the present. But
Yeah.
but there's so many presents on balloons and they're all just eggs now that it drives me insane.
Yeah.
I've got like my slingshots keep breaking. I went through probably 2 or 3 slingshots total in the half of a month I've owned this game, but I've gone through like 5 or 6 more since the egg thing happened because there's so many
Jeez.
balloons that just have eggs now.
Yeah. I mean,
Speaking of
like,
which,
I actually I tweeted about this, but I was thinking, like, for me at least, because the balloons don't like bother me as much because I don't really idle the game. But like, the thing that would honestly almost completely fix this for me is if the egg fish, the shadows were a different shape. That's it. That would fix
If
it
they- yeah.
completely.
Yeah, that would if they were just round
Yeah.
or something like that.
Food for thought for next time, right? hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of how in I think I don't know if it was Wild World or if it was another one, but like the eels would always be those really long shadows. So you like, yeah, you know that's an eel, like something like that. That it's like blatantly an egg, and you can just like scare it away or something if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would completely fix that. At least the fishing part of it. Apparently you get like an item. I don't know what it is yet. If you craft all like 18 Bunny Day pieces of furniture, and I think I'm only one away from doing that.
Yeah.
So
Is it 18?
I believe it. I looked at a guide and it said there's 18.
I have way more than 18 recipes.
Yeah, because there's stuff that's not like there's like Bunny Day this, Bunny Day that, but then there's just like the egg shit.
Yeah.
It's like you want all the Bunny Day stuff you have to craft to get the item or whatever. And that I only have like one more to do, so like I hope the item's worth it, but if not, I kind of spent a lot of time getting all these eggs for no reason, because I don't like the egg furniture. I don't want any of this shit.
At least with this, all you got to worry about is just getting through it, and then next holiday is that I'm looking forward to is going to be Christmas time in Animal Crossing, because at least then it's just presents. Yeah.
Is that? Well, they'll probably do some sort of like half a month long event or something.
Frickin' reindeer poop gathering.
God, I hope not.
Oh my lord.
I remember like Acorn Day in Wild World was really annoying because like it was a similar thing. They'd spawn acorns everywhere, and the acorns grew in the trees now. And then you've got all the acorns. You bring him a Tortimer who's wearing an acorn head, and then you get like an acorn thing. But the thing is, like, after the acorn event was over, the acorns wouldn't disappear, and you'd still be, like, digging up acorns for, like, another week, and it was fucking annoying.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is just that shit all over again. It sucks. But, that aside, there's, like, a handful of, like, little things that kind of, like, annoy me about New Horizons, but I think, other than that, God, this game's fucking amazing.
Yeah, no, I would say it's probably the best Animal Crossing I've played.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Easily. Well, I mean, obviously, just like a means of features and what you can do, but like, there's a lot of things that are just like such huge quality of life improvements. Like the ability to like, you can now see when a friend logs in. Like if someone's on your friends list and they log in, you just see like a message popped up. It says like, "Oh, Robbie's online," or "Oh, Brady's online," and then I can just like send you a message and be like, "Open your gate. I want to use your store or whatever."
Yeah, and
Or,
I mean
like,
you can
before-
even do that in the game too. Like you can send messages over like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Best
yeah,
Friends
that's-
app.
That's what I meant. Like you just send a message in
Oh,
game.
okay,
You don't
yeah.
even have to. Well, like before, you'd have to like get a hold of them, like text message them, and be like, "Hey, you want to play Animal Crossing?" Or you would have to be like talking to each other outside of the game already to like organize that. But now they have all these tools to make that so much better. I love how you can there's just like a lot of new things that just encourage and make it easier to like trade items and stuff. So I feel like I'm able to get stuff I want faster because other people have an easier time getting it to me. Like you can order stuff from your catalog directly to a friend's mailbox. That's like so freaking helpful.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't have to wait a whole day for it to show up, it just shows up in their game immediately the next time they just like play and like connect to the internet. That's though like the whole dodo bird thing where you got to fly in a plane and the whole loading screen, that needs to take less time
Yeah.
because it takes so long to get someone over to your town. And if you have multiple people, you can have to sit through that whole thing like up to 7 more times.
Times that by 14 because of them leaving.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
so stupid.
Have you ever been in a town where somebody has good turnip prices?
No.
It is
that
a nightmare.
that must be popping, isn't it, huh?
It's literally you can walk 3 steps and then you gotta wait like a minute for somebody else to either leave or show up, and it's oh my god.
God, that sounds terrible.
Sounds
And
like
let me
being at a
guess,
gas
like,
station with people with lotto tickets, like a big old pile of lotto tickets. I'm like, I just want to pay for my gas.
I'm sure there's a lot of like, you couldn't join because someone didn't close the text window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been doing the stock market shit because like I got so burned on it the first time. I bought them for 92 bells thinking, oh, it's less than 100 bells. That's probably not too bad a price. Next day there were 60 bells each. And then it was just that between 60 and 70 the whole week, and I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
But I've seen some people have some crazy returns for it. But I've just been doing the tarantula farming to get money, which that got a whole lot more annoying in April. Have you guys done that shit in April?
No, I've not actually gone to an island in the evening
No.
in April yet.
Damn. Okay. So, have you guys like grinded for tarantulas before?
No, I run into them every now and then, and I'll catch them. Like, I haven't gotten bit by one yet.
What about you, Robbie?
I tried to make my own tarantula island once, and I just got a bunch of mole crickets, and I gave up on it. And then I actually went to the real tarantula island, and then I
Yeah.
filled up my inventory. But other than that, like, I haven't been doing it.
So I've been to the actual tarantula island once, but I've made my own tarantula island like probably at least 10 times. I do it like at least once an evening, and yeah, you just chop down all the trees, pluck all the flowers, just get rid of anything for bugs to spawn on, so only tarantulas and tiger beetles will spawn, and wharf roaches. You just gotta scare away the wharf roaches and the tiger beetles until you see tarantulas. And some islands work better than others. There's a handful that work really well. The bamboo one actually sucks because that's when you get just mole crickets everywhere. There's like two that don't have much water and have like one small cliff area that are kind of ideal for it. But now the game keeps spawning water bugs because water bugs can appear in April. So these little bugs that appear in the water that you can't scare away, and the only way to get rid of them is by catching them start appearing. So suddenly you're busting all your fucking nets catching these water beetles and releasing them, and it takes so much longer to make these fucking tarantulas spawn now that it's April, and I hate it. I hate tarantula farming now. I used to be able to do it like every night, and I would get like 300,000 bells like per run, but now it just takes so long I don't want to do it anymore.
They inadvertently nerfed it.
April just completely nerfed tarantula hunting. I've seen some other people on Twitter complain about the same thing, and the water bugs don't go away until October. So yeah,
Gotta wait like a good 6 months or so.
before I can really do it comfortably again. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
But I've been making a lot of cool shit with all these bells. I've been relocating a lot of houses. I've been actually building like a little neighborhood. I had this idea of putting like fencing around my house, and I gave myself a little backyard that has some flowers and like a
nice.
hammock and some cool stuff in it. But then I thought to do that I decided to do that for every other villager's house as well. And I just put stuff they like in the backyard. So if they're a lazy villager, I put like a hammock or some snacks and stuff to hang out or whatever. If they're like a sporty type, I'll put like Sprocket is a sporty type. I put like a basketball net in his backyard. He's got like a football back there. And I've been doing that for everybody's, and it's been like a pain in the ass moving everyone's houses into the precise spot I want, because that process, moving one house, takes a full day. Yeah. So you put down the new land, and then it doesn't move until 5 a.m. the next morning, which is like, that's gotten me into a bad habit where I just stay up till 5 in the morning to see the changes, and then I can do the next one. I've been staying up till 5 in the morning playing Animal Crossing, and then going to bed at like 20 after 5, just when I do the couple of things I want to do the next day. I've been doing that every day for a week now, and my sleep cycle's destroyed. It's terrible. I need to stop.
Yeah, between Animal Crossing and the quarantine, I'm usually going to bed around like 9 in the morning. The worst night I said night, woke up, was at 7 o'clock, so my day was already done. I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to change this. I feel like shit.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a life
like
I never really want to go back to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nuts.
I haven't been this bad with it since like that 1 year I wasn't in school and wasn't working, like before I went to college and after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
Like that's the only other time my sleep got this bad, because that was the only other time I was doing nothing every day.
Jesus.
And I mean, like, not to say I'm doing nothing every day, but like I don't have to wake up for nothing, because like, I don't know, I usually wake up and go to Tim's and shit, but like now I don't do that. I just sleep in and then like do whatever. But I'm gonna try and go back into now that it's not just the April Fool's thing done and I have to like I can do stuff at my own pace again. I'm gonna try and get back into the habit of like waking up relatively early, making coffee myself, and then getting in the writer's chair and getting stuff done. I'm gonna try and do that, and I have been doing that today. I started writing a video about the Animal Crossing series. I kind of want to do like Not like a review like I usually do, because those games are so big and there's so
Yeah.
much to talk about. I mean, the intended way to play that and get the whole experience is to play it over the course of an entire year, which of course doing that for 5 games would be absurd. So I'm just kind of going like, my general thoughts on each game, some of my fondest memories. Robbie, I explained that whole like story about the actual secret rarest fish you made up in elementary. That whole story is in the video.
Oh god.
My experience shopping on Nook Bay and even like making an internet friend is in that video. And me and Nathan, the guy that I met like back in 2005 on Nook Bay, or 2006 on Nook Bay, we never actually made the transaction. I was going to sell him matryoshka, like those little Russian dolls that go inside each other.
Oh yeah.
For like I think 10,000 bells or something like that, and we never ended up making the exchange because like his game broke or something like that, but we ended up just becoming friends after that. But like 15 years later, however the fuck, like I'm actually going to, I have a matryoshka, he has the game, we're gonna link up tonight and I'm gonna make that transaction like 15 years later, and I'm gonna have that in the video too. So it's like just a lot of it's like just like a lot of little fun little things that I'm kind of including in that video. I'm going to call it Animal Crossing Memories, or I might call it just Animal Crossing Series. I'm probably going to go with Animal Crossing Memories because that kind of suggests it's like a different video than usual, kind of me just talking about memories with it.
Yeah,
Also
I mean,
the games
that
themselves,
sounds like appropriate and also exactly the kind of video I would want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Animal Crossing's so hard to just objectively review. But it's one of those games where everyone has their own experiences in it, and everyone is always happy to like listen to each other's stories. And I think like it being probably the one series I've put more time into than anything else, because as a kid I just played Wild World like nonstop. My playtime was probably like 7,000 hours on that thing. I just have so much to talk about, and that's actually the problem, is that I have so many of these things. It's just difficult to like. I can't talk about all of it. I have to pick and choose, and trying to pick and choose and then organize it into like a comprehensive video has been like really difficult. I feel like I'm not even halfway done and I'm already at 7 pages. Usually a video is 5 to 8 pages, by the way. So I gotta get back to that like tomorrow or something and try and condense that down. But that's what I'm kind of working on right now, and I think that might be a really fun video. And plus, like, Animal Crossing is a huge topic right now. I'd like to put something out that kind of like, takes advantage of the time. It's like, yeah, people talk about Animal Crossing right now. Let's do an Animal Crossing thing while I still kind of feel inspired and I'm into it again,
Yeah.
And then I think I'm going to. Well, I also want to do that video about the Animal Crossing e-reader cards, because that's something I've been wanting to do for like half a year, as you guys know. But I also want to review that the Tasmanian Tiger game. It got a HD re-release on Switch. I have it because I backed the Kickstarter, so my name's going to be in the credits too. Assuming they put the Kickstarter backers in the credits, they usually do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I kind of wanted to wait until all 3 were out and then do them all 3 again. But I think it might be cool if I just like did each one as it comes out.
Yeah.
So I think I might spend this month doing those 2 Animal Crossing videos, then tie, and then I think I'll get back to Frogger next month. So that's kind of my plans for this month and next. Taking a break from Frogger, doing some cool stuff, and yeah. What do you guys think about all that? I don't know. I
think it's cool. I backed Wonderful 101 back when
right on.
It was announced. So I backed that. I'm getting credited on the website, which is nice.
Oh, that's cool.
I selected Switch as my platform, obviously, because I'm a Switch boy, me.
Yo, you're a Switch junkie, dude.
Yeah.
You love your Switch.
Yeah, Switch. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that, because I missed out on Wonderful 101 because I didn't have a Wii U. So this is.
I actually played the demo for that back when it was like brand new, and I didn't really care for it. But I'm just not really huge into like those kinds of action games. I know a lot of people seem to really love that game. So I think it is a really good thing that that's coming out on something that's not the Wii U, because who's going to play it on that?
Yeah. Anything from you, Rob?
I was going to say, like, I'm definitely into, like, a lot of the stuff you've been doing recently, especially, like, I wanted to mention while we were talking about it, like, the Animal Crossing Memories, I feel like is such a, like, appropriate way to talk about it, because, like, even in the limited time that the game has been out, the new one is, like, I've literally stayed up until like 2 in the morning talking to like old internet friends that I haven't talked to in a long time, and it's just like we're just sitting there like wishing on stars and like chatting in game, and it's like there's just like so much that you can talk about in terms of like the experience with the game rather than like the mechanics. And I don't know, like I'm
exactly, yeah, and there is a long chunk in there when I get to New Leaf. It's like, what do I even talk about New Leaf? But then I realized New Leaf came out in that time I wasn't in school and didn't have a job, and that was the period I made friends with like Jackson and Mark. And the reason we became so close is because we played Animal Crossing together so much. So I have like a whole part talking about that, and I explain how like New Leaf was kind of much more of a social experience for me than the other games. But yeah, like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that you feel that way, because I kind of do too. I think it's going to be a good way to go about it, and I hope like it'll click with other people in the same way that like, I don't know,
I'm definitely sure people will click with this.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. As much as I'm sad to see the Frogger reviews be shelved for a bit, because I really want to see like videos on the Game Boy Advance one that I had as a kid.
Yeah, I remember. You're like one of the few people I talked to that actually did grow up playing one of those ones, and I'm like really excited to go back to those too, because like, again, the only Frogger game I grew up with was one of those GBA ones, and like going back to it to see like how it holds up would be super duper fun.
Yeah.
But I'll get back to that in May. Definitely don't have to worry about like, oh, what am I gonna do next for a while, because I fucking have an entire Frog series ahead of me, as well as those other. That's something I get sometimes. It's like I finish a video and it's just like, no, I don't know what to do. That was like when I like last year when I finished that last N64 game I planned on reviewing. It was either like Rocket Robot on Wheels or Starshot. It was just like,
now what?
I did all the games I planned. Now I don't know what to do. So like, I really like having those long stretches where I know I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I feel like I have
Good
job
investment.
security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did
what
we have
else
any?
you guys-
Do we have questions or?
Oh shit, we didn't do podcast questions. I didn't even ask them.
Oh well.
Well, better luck next time. Sorry guys, I'm
Oh well.
stupid.
This'll give people a chance to maybe even like ask questions about the April Fool's video and stuff. You know.
Yeah, honestly, if you guys want to leave your questions in the comments on this podcast, just type them out and I'll reply to them.
Yeah.
They'll do that.
Start it with like question, like abbreviated, like good stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, just post your questions. I'll just like type them out in replies, because like, I mean, we're doing something a little different than normal. Why don't we try doing that?
Yeah.
Also, I just feel bad for forgetting this segment again, because I always do, because I'm stupid. I feel like sometimes I feel like Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. There's just a million things going on at once, and I just forget like one of the important things. God. It's like, even earlier today, I have 6 people messaging me all at once, and I'm trying to write at the same time. And then, like, I almost forgot about doing this podcast because of it all. It's like, goddamn.
Jesus.
But, yeah, I'll try to be better with that. But, yeah, just post them below, and I'll try to reply to a lot of them. But, yeah, that's... we've been going on for about an hour. We can go on for a little longer if you guys want. We didn't talk about... There's, like, some upcoming stuff that I kind of want to talk about. Like Brady, Final Fantasy VII comes out really soon. I kind of want to hear what you how you're thinking about, because you're probably not going to be able to buy that physically.
Oh, I am. I'm going.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. So I actually got a call from my district manager at EB Games. What they're doing is they're actually calling people with pre-orders and having them go to the website and do this like weird MacGyver shit where you can actually purchase your in-store pre-order online, and they'll ship it to you from the warehouse. So
that's good.
I actually was asked about that for my Persona one, because I had that for Kai for pre-order, and so I did that. I managed to get that, and I have that copy coming to me within the next upcoming days. They're going to do that possibly with Final Fantasy VII, since it's a big title, and there's been a lot of shit going down on Twitter. Like a lot of people are commenting on EB Games' page about their games, about the customers and employees that were going out on release days when they should have been at home. So this is a smart way of doing that to keep them quiet, because I know people have been doing curbside pickups. So if I don't get it day one, I'll be sad, but I want my deluxe copy of Final Fantasy VII because
Yeah.
like people actually have this now. They have it early because they ship them out to Australia and Europe actually early.
Shit! I
Yeah.
didn't know about that.
Yeah, no, I found that out. Square actually sent out like a letter regarding that and being like, if you got the game early, just please be respectful and don't send any kind of like spoilers out to the public because people want to enjoy this for themselves, right? And,
I mean, like if it's out, that's
yeah.
all you can really do is just kind of politely ask them, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we know you have it. Just you can play it. Just please don't."
Yeah. So like I'm like props to them for doing this. Like it's good. But I did check in on someone playing it just to see like a little bit here, but it looks so good. The demo was awesome, but I'm looking forward to playing this game. People are complaining about it being episodic and stuff. I'm like, I'm not worried about that. They're fleshing this out to the max, dude.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I do feel like in a new context, there probably is enough content in that game's story to like make a trilogy. Because it is a very sprawling and ridiculous story, and I don't think they're gonna have that hard a time like making it 3 games. And I think they'll probably just do like the same thing they did with like 10 and 13. Like they'll literally just call it 7-2, 7-3. They'll probably just do that.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here ready to go nuclear because like Final Fantasy is 8 days away from me. Hypothetically.
Oh shit! Is it really that
Yeah.
soon? I didn't realize.
Comes out on the 10th, baby. I'm excited for it.
Well then, I know the Resident Evil 3 remake also comes out. That might even be out.
Yeah, it came out on, or I think it's actually coming out tomorrow. I think. Maybe.
Okay. Either way, I know
I'm gonna look into
reviews for it are out, and like, I remember saying like I loved the shit out of the RE2 remake, but I didn't think that this 3 remake was going to be as good because I know 3 tried to be like more action oriented, and I don't know, like,
Yeah.
I just had a feeling that they're going to try and do something with it, and it wasn't going to be as good, and that's kind of the general sense I'm getting from the reviews and from people that have played it. Like it's definitely not as good as the second one. It has like the same mechanics, but the level design and the kind of whole structure of the game doesn't lend itself as naturally to it, is what I've been hearing. So like, I know I remember a lot of like I didn't say I was like pumped for the third one, you know,
like
in my
it's
top
awesome
10 games
to see
of the
it
year
come
when
back,
I named Resident Evil 2 like my favorite game of the year.
Great to see that
and people are like,
it out a bit.
This guy's an idiot. How are you not excited about the third one? It's like, this is why.
Black sheep of the bunch.
I had a feeling this was going to happen,
right.
but I mean, I hear it is still really, really good, and I do want to play it eventually,
But
but
what can you
I'm
do?
not like, I'm going to pay $90 for this, stoked for it, like I was the second one. Yeah, and even in the remake, it still seems to be. But yeah, it just seems to me that, like, you know, 2 they made from the ground up using 7's engine, kind of, you know, with what that game was in mind. But then suddenly using this exact same setup for another game that doesn't have all those same things in mind didn't sound like it was going to be work as well to me.
No,
but
no.
I don't know. Yeah, and that's kind of just what happened. But yeah, I'm still going to play it before the end of the year. But just like, I don't know, I'll wait for it to go on sale or something. What else is coming out this year? Or what else comes out soon? I know Doom Eternal came out. Neither of you have played that, have you?
No.
Damn, I also want to play that before the year's over
Nice.
because I hear it's like crazy good. My friend Michael tells me that like they do that thing that they would do in like older shooters where like, you know, in Duke Nukem or older Doom games, you'd like find a hidden switch and a hidden room would open. There'd be like cool stuff in it. Like this game, Doom Eternal does that. Just like they did back in the 90s. And they just have like all these like little hidden rooms with fun things in them. And like all the mobility, like looking at gameplay, it looks incredible. I never finished the first one, but I think I'm either going to go back and finish it really quick, or I might just say fuck it and just play the second one some point this year.
I'm excited for Xenoblade Chronicles. Like they have an expansion on that now, which is cool.
That was coming out the same day as Last of Us 2, but Last of Us 2 got delayed today.
Yeah, jeez. For a second time, I'm pretty sure. Or
that
no,
is
I think
the
it was
second
the third.
time.
No, yeah, second.
I think it is the second time, yeah. I might get Xenoblade when it comes out, though. I feel like if I don't buy that on launch, I'm never going to see a copy of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened with every version of every Xenoblade.
Yeah. I somehow managed to get the 3DS version. It's always just been...
Yeah, I don't know how you got that. That thing just vanished.
Yeah,
but,
like it just popped up. I was like, oh, okay. You know,
I really love that first Xenoblade. I like Xenoblade X a lot. And I didn't really like Xenoblade 2 that much, but that first Xenoblade game I really, really loved. And when they make like new versions of RPGs, I kind of have a hard time. Like, I've never bought I'm not gonna buy the second version of Persona 5 because I already beat that game. It's like a 100-hour game. I can't, I don't have the time to do that again. But the thing about Xenoblade is like, I don't know, they are adding a lot. The new graphics look really nice, and they're also putting that scrapped area from the original back in, and they're with a whole new epilogue chapter, and it's like, fuck, man, I kind of want to play that. So I think I am gonna get it, and I might just be replaying that game this year.
Right on.
What about you, Robbie? I know you played the first one like shortly. I don't think you ever got too far in it though.
No, because the problem is like I don't like the combat in it. It's like the MMO style. Right?
Oh,
like,
really? That's interesting
Like,
because I actually really like the combat.
Yeah, I don't like when the game combat is like you target an enemy and then you wait for your character to attack over and over, basically. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why. It's just like I don't like it at all. I can never get into it.
Interesting, because like I like that way more than just like the typical turn-based combat stuff that, like, your Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest games always had. Unless it's like Persona. I feel like Persona's done interesting stuff, or the Shin Megami Tensei games in general have done interesting stuff with it. How like certain things can happen on certain turns, like the hold-ups and stuff. That make it interesting.
They add a lot more like strategy to the turn-based format that I feel like a lot of RPGs are sorely lacking.
Yeah. And I think that's why, like, despite not being huge in RPGs, the Persona games have like really kind of taken a grip on me, and kind of like I really like sit through that whole thing.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of falling off like I do with a lot of them. I know I kind of liked Skies of Arcadia. Kind of did something like that, where like as you took and gave damage, you built up a meter, and that meter you could use like across several characters, and you could spend on better attacks. But you kind of had to like think about that, and also doing those attacks like physically move them on the playing field, and that would also have influence. And I kind of like that, but I don't know, being able to like run around the enemy and like coordinate my team, and the whole thing is like, yeah, okay, I know Ryan is going to use that attack to take the aggro, so I can stab the guy in the back, and going between battles and learning new like arts and kind of choosing and putting all that stuff together and formulating a team where it's like, okay, I know these moves, this combination of moves between these three characters are going to take down this fucking guy. I like that shit a lot, and I think that might be why I liked Xenoblade so much. Yeah, I don't know. I like this stuff a lot. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you play a lot more RPGs than I do, but you seem to kind of like a lot different ones than I do. Because I remember you weren't crazy into Skies of Arcadia either.
I was the first time I played it, but I like dropped off, and then I tried to go back to it, and I found it like kind of boring. Not like maybe not boring, but like it just didn't hold me. And I don't really know why that is.
That game does have a lot of downtime, I will admit. Like, it feels like there's long stretches where just, like, nothing's happening in Skies of Arcadia. But it does have its exciting moments, and I did like the combat enough overall to kind of get through it. Yeah. RPGs are long as hell, and I don't play a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I really had to say. I just wanted to bring up, like, Final Fantasy 7 and Resident Evil 3 and the other thing I brought up, but like, yeah, Xenoblade. But like, yeah, I don't really know anything else that's coming out. We haven't really been playing anything else because we've just been playing Animal Crossing. So I guess we kind of got everything out, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about.
I've basically said my piece, and well, aside from stay safe, keep your loved ones close, and sanitize and wash your hands with soap and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's probably how we'll end this. Yeah, like, not a whole lot going on in the world right now, but I'm trying to keep busy. We're trying to keep busy, trying to make the best of it. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and I think it's not just enough to take care of yourself. I think kind of taking care of the people around you too is a big part of it as well.
That's why keep your loved ones close.
Exactly. Yeah. So stay safe, everybody. I hope you guys are taking care of yourself in these pressing times. Thanks for watching the podcast, or listening to the podcast in this case. Hopefully next month this will all be over and we can do another video podcast. It probably won't, though, so depending on how long this pandemic lasts, expect maybe 2 to 4 or 5, I don't know, a handful more audio-only podcasts. But I hope this wasn't too bad a substitute for the video. I kind of hate just talking and not having body language.
Yeah, no.
Because I feel like I'm so bad at just talking if I'm not on camera to kind of move my arms, and
yeah,
I feel
no.
it feels like awkward.
The
to me right
energy
now.
is not there.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you
sorry
know.
if this was kind of like a lower energy podcast. I think the body language just wasn't there. But either way, we try to make the best of it. Thanks for listening, and take care of yourselves. I'll see you next month or when I'm doing stuff. Bye.
Bye.